Hello, everybody. How are you all? It is a little bit grey and dreary here, but I am going to be using this beautiful rainfall that we're having because there is nothing better than a purification of being in a fjord or a lake or a sea when it's raining, as above, as below. It's like this beautiful divine infiltration of being able to cleanse our energy from both sides, and I love it. So very excited to go and have a dip. Before I do, though, I just did a read for the Masculine Collective. It's been something that's coming up for a couple of days, and I'm being very vulnerable here and open and honest. I've been sort of studying tarot now for quite a few months, and I'm starting to really get pulled to doing this more and more and more. And so I'm trusting it. And the energy of the cards that came through today for the masculine energy, once again, this is not about male and female. This is our energy centers, our yin and our yang within us. And this particular spread, it came out and there was lots of cards, and they were sideways, they were reversed, they were upright. Those of you who know anything about tarot will know that the reverse is basically the opposite to the upright, and the sideways is when we're kind of sitting on that fence between A and B and not really knowing where to plant our feet, because trusting that if we plant our feet in either A or B, we're so scared as to what that may look like in our life. So it's been an interesting read completely. And it was very much about ego death. So there was a lot of swords that came out. There was a lot of shadows that came out. There was a lot of people feeling like they're walking on eggshells, feeling like they can't be fully seen, and having the same signs and the repetition of some conversations and maybe some posts being sent to them by friends and family of oh, maybe you want to have a look at this. There's this big ego thing of, no, I've got myself into this mess so I can get myself out, or no, I'm in and I've made this commitment, without realizing that making a commitment based on someone else's happiness is not the divine way. Making a commitment to ourselves for our happiness is the divine way, and trusting what that looks like. And the energy that was coming through was very much this I guess, with the masculine energy being all about the action and moving forward and progressing. And then there was this beautiful soft tone of the divine feminine coming through. So it was very much a read of just allow this flow, allow this intuition to come through, to trust what you're hearing, to trust the signs and synchronicities, to start asking the questions to yourself, not just in the mirror, but throw it out there. What's the worst that can happen? You ask for a sign and one is given to you, and then you ask for another and it's given to you, and you ask for another and it's given to you. Eventually you're going to go, okay, I have to listen now. This is the thing, okay? This is about the divine light showing us how we need to trust ourselves more importantly than anything else. And just because we have said, oh my goodness, I have everything I want and I'm still not happy, I'm still not fulfilled, it's about being okay with that not being fulfilled, and actually diving in deeper and understanding, why aren't you fulfilled? You have all the materialistic possessions in the world. You have someone who loves you, but you're still not fulfilled. What's wrong there? Nothing is wrong and nothing is right. It's just a moment in your time where emptiness is, because probably your cup is like a funnel more than a cup. The blessings keep coming to you, but you don't know how to receive, because you don't know how to receive that love for yourself. And that's, a key thing. The ego death it's one of the freaking hardest things you can go through. Admitting that you hurt someone, or admitting that the wounded version of yourself enabled that to happen, and being okay with that, because you were a different person then. And the ego death of recognizing that you can't control how other people take you. You can't control how other people interpret what you say or how you act. You could just be truthful to yourself. And I think we live in this society where we're in so much fear of hurting everybody else. And that is the outcome. That is the collective outcome that we put out there. I can't speak my truth. I mean, what would the world be like if people were like, you know what? I love you. I really do. But there's the but, okay? The moment we say the words but, something isn't aligning. Sometimes the words are, I love you, or I love this job, but it's the but we need to listen to, because it's the but that is basically our subconscious, our higher selves saying, this isn't right. This isn't aligning. And you can lead a horse to water and you can't make it drink. I know all the terminologies that we use in this space, but ultimately this is about retrospection of listening to yourself. And interestingly, on that note, the Hermit. So I did the spread and these cards just flew out, and there was a huge load of cards that flew out. I was like, there's no way that this is a message. Maybe I picked up the pack and I said, okay, Spirit, show me which ones of these cards need to come through. Bang, bang, bang. They all flew out again. I was like, okay, so this is the message. So here I am already with a massive amount of cards. And then this huge spread came out. And they were all very, very, very key and related to this whole thing. And then I put my pack down and then I heard turn it over. And as I turned it over, the Hermit came out, which just tied in absolutely everything in this reading. And it made me realize, once again, how powerful this tool can be. When you ask the questions and you're not scared to bring the shadow and the light in as one, and you see a read like this is literally the first cards that came out was shadows, swords, 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 the stuff that's holding us back, you know, and then this beautiful flow of trust your intuition and then take action. So that's the balance of the feminine and the masculine energy working beautifully as one. And I think if you go back through your life and you then go and do a bit of an audit and you go, okay, well, what point in my life was it that I wasn't feeling right? And I finally trusted that and I got out of the situation, whatever it was. I took the action. You see, that is the point. We are in fear to take action. We walk on eggshells, even though we know the action that needs to be taken. But why are we walking on eggshells? Because we're scared if we take that action that it's going to offend or piss someone else off or upset someone. It's not your journey. That's theirs. If they react to the action that you are putting forward, then, you know, you can't control that. So right now, if something isn't aligning with you in your life, whether it's you're sat there at work going in a meeting, I am now being asked to do something that actually I don't feel is correct. And you don't feel that you have got the confidence to sit down with your boss and change the outcome. Do you then get angry 3 months' time where the project goes tits up and you sit there and go, I told you so, because you didn't speak up with your concerns at that moment? Again, that's how you control. And if that's your repetitive pattern of not being able to speak up and actually trust that you can change the outcome of something, then that is maybe something you came here to learn. I know it's something I came here to learn, is knowing that I can choose again, and that when I choose myself, it's not selfish. When I choose myself, that is because I am trusting myself that something doesn't feel right, something isn't fitting right now. You know, this whole thing of square peg, round hole just keeps coming up whenever I start writing about what's going on right now in the masculine energies. And I feel like that's what it is. I think we're starting to realize how we don't fit in to either the society, or we don't fit into our friends groups, or we don't fit into this, but we stay stuck. Why? Because that's our wounded state of going, there's nothing else more, and I don't want to be alone again, or I don't want to rebuild, or I don't want to do this. And this is the ego death I'm talking about. Don't want versus trusting that if you do make those decisions and you allow that shit to fall away and trust. And I'm not talking about being mean about it. If you're not aligning with your friends groups anymore, then just stop going out and see if they keep inviting you. If they do, then you can say, guys, look, to be honest with you, I'm just not feeling the vibe anymore of the group. But sometimes things will just naturally fall away from us, and we keep ourselves stuck in those patterns because we keep saying yes to things that we know are not actually serving us anymore, okay? And this is about learning those repetitive patterns. And the beautiful thing about a spiritual evolution is exactly that. We came here to learn lessons. Our lessons are going to be there every single day. Every day we have another step in life. Every day we can stand on that step. We can have events that trigger us. It's how we deal with those triggers and how we then accept them as part of ourselves rather than letting them control us, control our emotional outcome, control how we then, are fearful that we're going to make someone feel that way if we speak our truth. Every step in our life is managed by us, co-created. We can wake up in the shittiest mood. We can spend half an hour on our own, cold shower, meditate, breath work, and sit at that breakfast table, and you don't even remember why you woke up in a shitty mood. Or we can wake up in a shitty mood and we can carry that through the house. And then we can make everyone else feel like, oh my God, we can't even talk to them. Can't even talk to them. Like, what side of bed did they get out on? This is fucking scary. Because we're feeling suffocated. We're feeling stuck. We're feeling angry. We want to break free. And we're not listening to that. Repeating conversations, having the same conversation with our friends, our bosses, our families, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, our partners, same broken record stuff. That in itself is a sign when you are exhausted with saying the same shit to someone and it is not resonating with them. And I'll talk from experience here, if I may. When I sit with someone, I say, how do you want me to communicate with you? Do you want it in an email? Do you want it in bullet points? You're quite logically minded. Is this going to sit with you better in communication? Do you want me to break down in tears and fucking show you my frustration, my anger? What do you want? And in turn, when none of that works, we still fucking keep trying rather than going, it's just not supposed to. And I need to recognize that. And I'm grateful for you showing me that I have exhausted all my ways, my methods of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. And now it's time to realize that no amount of carpentry is going to allow this to happen because it's not supposed to. So when Spirit shows us everything that we want in our lives, it's to show us that we can have it and we can create it. Our ego, though, if we're not happy, not fulfilled, keeps us stuck there. Why? Because we've invested so much time into that person, that situation, that job, that project. Because we can't invest time in actually trusting ourselves. And that again comes down to that action. So I feel like there's a lot of people in the masculine collective right now are very much on that fence. I feel like they've got a foot in A and a foot in B. Intuition. They know where they need to be. They know where they want to be. They know where they're supposed to be. But the shadows that are keeping them stuck in this fear mode of actually being seen and breaking out and telling people, it's okay, you don't understand. This is my life, not yours. It's okay, you don't understand that I'm walking away from this that most people are begging for. It's okay, you don't understand that I'm walking away from this massive salary to go and fucking live in a cabin in the woods for the next 6 months. It's okay. That is our shadows of not trusting of what is coming through in here. So yeah, this read was really big. And for me, it's probably one of the biggest reads I've done. Fight or flight and fright. These are not life. Panic attacks. Exasperations. Not aspirations. You kind of want those. Exasperations. Feeling suffocated. Feeling that when you start to argue with someone or start to get upset and angry, you're feeling it here. Literally feeling it here. This is your body. This is your higher self tuning in saying, can you fucking listen? This is not supposed to be happening in your life. And this is the other thing that I think could be quite useful. Something that came through to me a few weeks ago. Ask yourself this question. If you are really stuck right now, if you are in that situation where you get in the car and you go, I could keep driving right now. I could keep driving anything to go back to that situation. Or walking, or whatever. I could get on a plane and no one would care. If you're feeling like that, ask yourself, If I said this was my last time to incarnate on earth, regardless of whether you believe, just play along. If I said this is my last time to incarnate from earth, God, source, energy, galactic council, all as one, I'm committed to this journey. And I want you to help me talk to the souls that are going to help me on this journey and bring them in at exactly the right moments in my life, if I'm not listening, to repeat those patterns until I finally learn from them. And then when I finally recognize these patterns and I learn from them, when I finally start to accept who I am, speak my truth, be authentically myself, when I finally recognize the shadows and accept everything about who I've been in this lifetime and other lifetimes and dimensions, can we go through this period where I need to segregate myself from the rest of the world to really start to believe in myself? Can you take everything away from me just to give me that time to rebuild? And if I try and put something else in that space, rather than having this time that I've asked for, can you once again show me that pattern until I'm strong enough to recognize it straight away? And then you sit down with your team, the ones that you've agreed to create this life with, move through the karma wheel, heal the trauma bonding. Do you really think, let me ask you this, do you really think that your soul, your incredible, powerful, magnificent soul that is you and you are them, the higher self, the spiritual community call it, do you really think that you would say, I'm going to settle, I'm not deserving of the most incredible life? Do you really think that when we talk about higher timelines, future selves, higher self, that is you? Your guide is you. Your guide is always you. For you are God and God is you. You. If you can't listen to you, you will keep repeating those mistakes. You are the one that can change an outcome by being authentically you with your voice. Can you believe that this incredible life is there for you once you do the work? I can't tell you. I know I do. Because I came back here to bring faith to myself, to the collective, to many people that I meet. I came back here to hold my hand down, no matter what stage I'm at, and help people. I came back here to say, how the fuck can I be a leader in the new earth if I can't heal my shit in this one? And I honor that. And I'm proud of that. And right now, Spirit is showing me that I have been in people's energy too much. And I need to now go and be in my own space. Because the stuff that's come up for me while I've been here, now my action is to integrate that in. Love it, recognize it, let it go. But also accept it more than anything. So, as you know, I love a bit of poetry. And I'm kind of combining my two loves right now with helping, healing, blah, 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 and my love of writing. But I think this is really significant to the read. So I actually did a video yesterday with this poem on, and something was like, no, it's not the right time. But I know that it is now. So those of you who are going through huge conflicts right now in your head, in your heart, that's because one of them is controlling you. Find out which one. Find out which one is pulling your strings right now. And the beauty about recognizing which one is pulling your strings and which one you're trying to listen to right now is, can you balance them? And maybe you're at that point in your life where you just need to tune in to your heart, not your reptilian brain. And I don't mean reptilian with all the galactic stuff. I mean what it is from a scientific point of view, right? The brain here that keeps us stuck in our patterns. Which is ironic because reptiles shed their skin, but there you go. Anyway, Spirit, you're showing me today pain and blockages in the throat chakra. People are really wondering, is this really their happy ever after? Can voices be heard and finally tell the truth without fear that the other wants to hit the roof? Can we finally hear and find the words, no matter what, that someone may think it's absurd? Can we follow our hearts as we recognize what needs to change, whether it's needing some space in life's game? Can we admit to ourselves, I'm suffocating, standing up for our wishes with no one else causing doubt or deliberating? Can we look in our eyes and discover the soul truth and start to realize what's causing the pain in our root? Will you now be strong before it finally ignites that release of tears? Stop holding on to the panic, fear, and fright. Will you allow yourself the breakdown, knowing that you'll always get back up when we learn the beauty of silence to be found and filling up our cup? So I really hope you've enjoyed this reading, and I really hope that something I did for me was a life audit. I went through everyone in my life and I put their name down on a piece of paper, and I was really honest. Who are they in my life? How do they make me feel? And I didn't just do this with people, I did this with situations. And it's very confronting because words are confronting. And when we see them visually, it's almost like that accountability, that moment, which is why sometimes I think when you do journaling, it changes so many people's lives, because the journal is a diary and the diary is just for you. And when you're writing for you, the truth comes out because you trust. It's your space to finally reveal your truth, how you're feeling, how someone else makes you feel. And it is a great way of digesting that. And if you are journaling at the moment, go back through, have a read. See if you've turned to the method of gratitude and you write down those gratitudes every single day. Start off with 2 or 3. You'll end up with a whole page before you know it. See whether your life has changed since you started doing that. Anyway, as always, I'm not going to say much peace, love, and light. I'm just going to say be you from morning to night.